Hello everyone and welcome back to New Frontier on the Conquer the Frontier series. We are back. It is September. Last time we got our canola here drilled. Not as germinated, but it is sprouting some weeds. Now the plan is to get a weeder, get that taken care of. We aren't quite at the point where we can get a sprayer. So we will be doing the old-fashioned weeder for now. Yes, our first job of the day is getting Albert Park drilled with barley. We got that plowed up and limed last time. And Artemus told me that he has gotten a suggestion for a name for this field. And that would be Creekside. So yeah. Good enough name. We're happy with that. Now Artemus is off getting the seed drill. I think we'll just hop in here and get the truck moved for him. Yes, we are going half and half on the drilling. And Artemus is just gonna start out. We are gonna finish up and then it is on to taking care of this field. It needs fertilizer and weeding. And then we are gonna have to make some money, and that is from logging. So we will be entering the woods, getting some logs cut down and sold. The first stop is the Albert Park field. We will follow along. And we will have that drilled with barley. There we go, that's Albert Park all drilled up with some nice barley. So we can go ahead and head on back to the farm, get our seed drill dropped off, and then we are off to the store to get ourselves a weeder. Then we should hopefully be able to weed up our home field, the Creekside. But yes, first up we have to drop off our seed drill. And off to the store we go. Here we have our new weeder, the Gorank Puller 600. And then we also got ourselves a shovel. Because what is a farm without a trusty shovel? We're gonna use that to get the spilled lime out of our trailer. But let's take this on back. Now before we can get going with the weeding here, we are gonna go ahead and get our spreader dropped off next to the trailer. So Artemus can shovel the excess lime in there. And then we can empty it all at once to make way for our fertilizer. There he is, shoveling away. We can get our weeder attached. Unfold it. And we can get the field done. And I will see you then. There we go, that's the weeding done. Now it did leave some bits, some weeds in the field. And we're not quite sure why that is. They look to be small weeds and we were under the impression that that's what the weeder is for. Getting rid of the weeds while they're still small. It's saying it's partial weeds now. But it is significantly less than it was, so half success there, I suppose. Now next up, Artemus is gonna go ahead and hit this with the second round of fertilizer. And that should be this field done until it is harvest season again. So yes, just gotta unload the lime from our spreader. And get it topped up with some nice fertilizer. So yes, I will see you when that's all done. There we go. Creekside all fertilized up. And we are at a 95% yield bonus. Drops down to 85 where the partial wheat is. So that's not the greatest. But without a sprayer, that's all we can do. Next, we are gonna focus on some logging. We are aiming for the lodgepole pines. These beautiful trees over here. So we'll get a few cut down and winched out of here. Then cut down to size. Ready for loading up. So I will see you when we have an assortment ready to go. Here we go, a decent selection of lodgepole pines cut down to size. Now we just need to get those loaded up and sold at the sawmill. Now we need to get about 45,000 for what we have planned today. We need to get a shed for equipment, and then we are gonna look into a sawmill that we can operate from our farm here. And that should limit a bit how much we have to travel. Oh yes, Artemus is just getting the front loader onto our Massey and getting our shovel weight picked up. And then we are gonna jump in the cab and get some of this loaded up. So I will see you when we have all of these logs sold. Here we are, second trailer load of lodgepole pines. Let's get that sold. So we are shy of our goal, which was 46,000. But not to worry, we can continue on next time. But we are gonna head on back to the farm and get a shed built. and start moving equipment and greenhouse goods into our brand new shed. So this nice clearing here is fairly flat, and I think this is going to be the start of our new yard. So let's go ahead and get our shed built. And there we have our brand new shed. Very simple, a wood frame shed with a tin roof. Now nothing too fancy. And that should keep our equipment nice and sheltered from the elements. And give us some nice storage for our produce. Even has some nice lights. Now it's just time to get our greenhouse produce. We are gonna get that loaded onto our trailer here and take it down to the new shed where it will be stored until it's time to sell it. And that's everything from our greenhouse loaded up. Both trailer and truck are packed. So we better take this down to our new shed and get it unloaded. Oh yes, can't forget to strap it down. We don't want this flying everywhere. Not a good idea to have flying produce. And that's all our greenhouse crops in nice rows here in this far side of the shed. Now I imagine we'll be not close to filling this by the time we have to sell. But I think we will be quite a ways. I think we might double what we have here if we're lucky. Now Artemus is just parking up the trailer. Yes, this seems like the appropriate place for it. So next up is getting our equipment stored in here. And yes, we will make a time lapse of that. And I will see you when we're done. And there we go. That's our new shed stocked with all our equipment, or most of it anyway. So yes, quite a successful day. We didn't quite get to where we wanted. We were gonna go ahead and buy a sawmill for our farm here to make our trips with the wood a bit quicker. But that's gonna have to wait until next time. But we did get our shed, so that's halfway to plan. But yeah, successful day. We have both our fields with crops. Our canola has been fully fertilized and weeded. And now we just have to wait for our barley to germinate so we can get the second application of fertilizer. But that's all for today. So if you enjoyed, drop a like, leave a comment down below. If you have any tips or suggestion, check out Artemus' channel down in the description, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. But we will see you next time as we continue to conquer the frontier.